the minors. We're underway. Hassan Claver delivers a ground ball to the right side. First base bag will be covered by the pitcher Ziola, and that's going to be a 3-1 to get things rolling in game two.
Yeah, that was a great play by the minors. Almost perfectly placed by Hassan Claver in the hole there, but great play by the first baseman Hughes, able to get into that and then make a nice solid throw, leading the pitcher, Ziola, to the bag.
As you mentioned, Hughes is on first base for Mat-Su in this contest, and I'd say that he'll have a lot of tests from this Oilers lineup. Nellis, the number 2 man in the order, is on, and this pitch is going to be delivered just to the outside for ball 1. Nellis, in the last game, was the leadoff man in the order and went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, so certainly wants to make sure that that doesn't happen again. 1-0 on the win. This one finds the zone. Count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. Nice pitch toward the outside corner by Ziola that time. And again, he is a freshman pitcher out of the University of Nebraska. So a big-time Big Ten program that has a big history with Mat-Su, as that pitch is delivered low and outside for ball number 2. They've gotten some pitchers from Nebraska before who've been pretty solid. And Ziola, certainly one of the better ones they've had in a number of years. 4.24 ERA. 2-1 on the way. This fastball is high for ball 3, and good take by Nellis to force that third ball just above the zone, 3-1 pitch coming up. Delivered to Nellis. Delivers a ground ball toward the 5-6 hole, picked up by the shortstop. Long way to throw, and he somehow got it there anyway. What a job to get the 6-3. That's 2 away on the Oilers, and that was sensational.
That was absolute terrific play from Park there. Playing deep into the hole, making the backhanded grab, then the throw across the body all the way to first. As is the nature of that throw, it's not going to be perfect. It was offline, so an equally impressive, well, I don't know about equally, but almost equally impressive play from the first baseman to make that stretch and somehow maintain contact with the bag. That was Hughes.
That was incredible to be able to get that out, but it is unfortunate for the Oilers as that's too quickly away here in this top of the first as Nolan Graw comes to the plate. Graw in the first game struck out swinging back in the second, but did reach on an E5 in the sixth. That was his only time reaching base in the first 7-inning affair. Ziola with a 1-0 count here on Graw. Lefty batter will pop this one up foul on the left side, and the count will go to 1-1. Your infield for Mat-Su here in this contest, it's Will Godfrey over at third, Austin Park at short, Diesel Toth is at second, with Luke Hughes over at first. Here's a 1-1 with 2 outs coming up to Nolan Graw. Pitch is delivered, and it's just outside for ball number 2. Count goes to 2-1. Some of these pitches a little bit high for Ziola, kind of targeting that top part of the zone so far. 2-1 pitch delivered, and well inside, almost at the knees of Graw for ball 3. Kind of a similar situation to what Mark Nellis was in a moment ago.
Yeah, Ziola falling a little bit behind Graw here. Nellis almost got a hit out of that, but like we said, that play by the shortstop Park put an end to that.
Here is a fly ball delivered deep to right field, back towards the wall. It's going to land all the way in the right field corner. Graw racing for second, and he is going to get there in time with a stand-up double. The first extra base hit for the Oilers today in either game comes from Nolan Graw, who's been on a heater recently, and he's in fuego here in the top of the first.
Yeah, Nolan Graw got all of that ball, driving it almost all the way to the fence, dropped pretty much the back end of the warning track right at the base of the fence. That was actually a great job by Babcock. He played that very well, kind of made a spinning throw, but somehow yet still strong, a relay back into second base. Obviously not in time to keep Graw at first, but a great hit for Nolan Graw there.
So Luke Lusky comes to the plate. He's another guy that's got a lot of power under the hood, and that could serve him well in the cleanup spot. Pitch is delivered by Ziola, and it is high again for ball 1. Trying to get Lusky on a fastball, that's sometimes a concerning proposition for the opponent.
Lusky, like Nellis, struck out twice in the first game just a couple minutes ago, it feels like, and he's looking for a bounce-back game here in game 2.
1-0 pitch coming up from Jace Ziola. Graw is in scoring position. Delivers this one low and outside. So he tried to correct it and almost overcorrected his pitch style and had that one get away from the catcher, Hazen Inouye. And the count will be at 2-0.
Yeah, Lusky in a big spot here with a runner in scoring position in a scoreless game. It's good to see him still being patient at the plate and taking those balls, working himself into a more advantage count.
2-0 and strike one called. That was the happy medium that Ziola was looking for. Count at 2-1 as the sun really starting to peek through here at Herman Brothers Field.
Yeah, in between games we had what was a pretty solid downpour. Well, I don't know about downpour, Alaska downpour, and I thought we might have a delay of game at least, which we did a little bit, but great to see the sun back out in what's been a wet week.
Been wild weather so far today in Palmer. Runner takes off here as this is hit into play towards the second baseman. Throw to first is in time as it was Ziola who was covering the first base bag. So it's going to be a 4-1 to end the top half of the first inning. Nolan Graw reaches on a double, but that's it. One hit, no runs, no errors, and one man left on base for the Oilers. We head to the bottom half of the first inning with your score still, Oilers 0 and Miners 0. Don't go anywhere on ESPN.
The warehouse is open at Sweetie's Clothing in Soldotna. Come discover amazing deals with savings from 30 to 70% off on flannels, jeans, footwear, jackets, and a wide variety of summer essentials. Plus, they've got lots of new merchandise you didn't see last year. Whether you're heading to work, hitting the trails, or getting the family ready for summer, now's the time to stock up and save. Don't miss the warehouse sale at Sweetie's Clothing in Soldotna. Your workwear and outerwear headquarters for the whole family.
Let's talk about something that's not always top of mind, but still really important, life insurance. Because it offers financial protection for your loved ones and can help them pay for things like mortgage, credit card debt, and even your children's education. Plus, life insurance is probably a lot more affordable than you think. And with State Farm, your local agent can help you understand your options and choose coverage that fits your needs and budget.
Hi, this is Christy Babcock, your local State Farm agent, still in Kenai, and now also at the Soldotna Y.
Welcome back here on ESPN. Dylan Simmons and Tucker Blau joining you for the bottom half of the first inning here in Palmer, Alaska. On the Three Bears Alaska scoreboard, it is still Oilers 0 and Miners 0. Will Godfrey, Austin Park, and Luke Hughes head to the plate to start this bottom half of the first inning, and it will be Kian Prendez who is on the mound for the Oilers. And if you know that name well as an Oilers fan, you know that usually good things are about to take place from the bump.
Yeah, Prendez looking to match the Baker's outing from Game 1. That was on the Miners' side. Oilers now bring their ace to the mound.
Fastball is delivered for a strike, and the count goes to 0-1. Prendez with a 2.28 ERA on the season, 23 2/3 innings pitched. Known by his teammates as KP, and this pitch is delivered low for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike for the pitcher Kian Prendez. Prendez also has 20.
You said after a couple stolen bases to start off the first game, or maybe it's just one and there was one that was overturned or something like that. The Oilers have caught 3 straight Miners runners stealing, so great job by both catchers tonight.
And Owen Musil says, I am announcing myself to this party with a single to the right side of the ballpark to lead off this top half of the second inning right into the 4-3 hole.
Yeah, that was a great job by Musil. Reached out and poked that one. Just his second hit of the day, just a smooth swing, shot it right through that right side, and he's now aboard with nobody out for the bottom of this order.
Shane Cannon will come to the plate. Great way to start for Owen Musil, and just like that, the tying run is aboard for the Oilers. They were able to get Nolan Graw on base with a double earlier, and Musil continues his hot streak from the first game against Matsu earlier today. This pitch is delivered just to the outside on Cannon for ball number 1. In Game 1, Musil had 2 straight singles to end out the contest, including an RBI single in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Shane Cannon to the plate here, back at shortstop for this game. He was second base in the first one, went 0 for 3 against Matsu. 1-0 from Ziola is delivered inside, and the count goes to 2-0 against Cannon.
And Cannon has been used by this Oilers squad as a leadoff hitter, so he does have that high on-base percentage. I believe he's batting over 300 as well, so he's a good guy to have up in this situation.
Certainly is, and has more often than not found ways on base this season, but he watches a strike go by here on a fastball. Count at 2-1.
Hitting from Reed Oakley with 2 strikes. Like I said, all he's looking to do is put the ball in play, force something to happen, and even though he does just get weak contact, he's glad he got weak contact because that was directly to center field. He gets any more on that, and it's an easy fly out. Now you've got the bases loaded and nobody out for Carson McCormick. So this is definitely setting up to be a big inning.
Carson McCormick is the starting right fielder for this game, and the man who loves to fish in Soldotna is at the plate.
Who doesn't love to fish in Soldotna?
I think everyone loves to do it in some capacity.
Oilers tied this game up in unconventional fashion.
Yeah, it's a very unconventional way to do it, whether it was a pass ball, wild pitch. Either way, Musel's in on a pitch that got away from the catcher Inouye, and the Oilers have tied it up at 1 run. Runners now at second and third. First base is empty for McCormick, and the count is at 1-2. Jay Sciola struggling with control all of a sudden. McCormick drives one into left field for a base hit right past the glove of Austin Park. 1 run comes in, and we have a 2-1 Oilers lead, and make it 3-1 as the throw from the left fielder Pearson got past the catcher Inouye, and the Oilers clear the bases in one fell swoop.
Yeah, Coach Dawson making the wise decision of holding Reed Oakley coming around to hold at third base with nobody out. But then once that ball scooted by Inouye, that was an easy extra run, and now the Oilers lead 3-1 in what has turned into a big inning.
And that throw from Pearson out of left field just did not go where he needed it to. And as a result, the Oilers now have McCormick over at second and Finner to the plate. And how about this Oilers offense all of a sudden here in this top half of the second inning? As one extra base hit this season, baseball he's used to playing. 1-2, here's a slow roller over to third, picked up by Godfrey, bobbles it, throws it on to first, and still got it there in time for the 5-3, although it was a very close play on Nellis. That'll do it for a dramatic top half of the second inning. Oilers bring in 4 runs, 1 on a pass ball, 1 on an RBI single, 1 on an error, and 1 on an RBI groundout. 4-1 Oilers on top of the Miners. We'll be back for the bottom half of the second to Herman Brothers Field in just a moment on ESPN.
Gentle Dental in Soldotna continues to invest in the latest dental technology. Their new 3D scanning system makes Invisalign treatment, root canals, extractions, and future dental implants more precise and predictable than ever before. They've also refreshed their office to create an even more comfortable experience for every patient. Whether it's time for a checkup or a new smile, Gentle Dental is ready to help. Call Gentle Dental in Soldotna today at 907-262-8834 to schedule an appointment.
Great news, Kenai. The Central Peninsula Kenai Health Center is expanding to better serve our community. We're proud to once again offer lab services, screening mammography, and bone density in one convenient location right here in Kenai. We're proud to bring these important services back to the Kenai community because everyone deserves access to quality health care close to home. Learn more at cpgh.org or call 907-714-4495. Central Peninsula Kenai Health Center, compassionate, personalized health care close to home.
Back here on ESPN in Palmer, Alaska, Dylan Simmons and Tucker Blau joining you from Herman Brothers Field. And after a wild top half of the second inning on the Three Bears Alaska scoreboard, it is Oilers 4, Miners 1. Oilers with 5 total hits in this game. Matsu with 2, 1 error for the Miners, none for the Oilers so far. It'll be Jackson Babcock, Canyon Millar, and Diesel Toth to lead off this bottom half of the second inning.
Yeah, and it's good to see back in the top of the second, the Oilers getting production from the bottom of the lineup. We know the top of the lineup is capable of producing runs. It's good to see the bottom of the lineup cashing in as well.
That's what they'll look to do as Kian Prendez delivers a strike here, and the count goes to 0-1.
Hopefully that offensive inning with 4 runs gives a little fire to Prendez as well, and he can get back in the zone here.
Well, it very well could, and Prendez didn't do bad in that first inning, but did give up, of course, the RBI single to Alex Pearson. That's what he's going to be trying to correct.
This third inning for the Miners is off third. Back in the first inning, did advance the runner to second base, so a productive at-bat, looking to set the table here in the third inning as he takes strike 1, 0-1 the count.
Matsu overall now with the third best offense in the ABL, which I will say is quite a development from where they were earlier on in this season. As that's a nice strike, too, from Prendez, because they were down at the bottom part of the ABL standings when it came to offense. They've been gradually getting better and gelling as an offensive unit as time has gone on. We've seen the fruits of that labor many times, but not as much so far in the second half of the doubleheader.
Prendez ready for the 0-2 pitch to Austin Park. fouled back and away, up on the long hop, and throws to first in plenty of time. Outs don't get much easier than that.
Yeah, it's about as simple of an out as Kian Prendez and this Oilers defense could have hoped for. And it makes such a difference to get the leadoff batter off compared to somebody else later on in the inning, because it really helps set the tone, and you don't have as much damage to try to clean up later on if a guy gets on base.
Absolutely, especially if that hitter is Austin Park, who's already picked up 2 hits today, as I said earlier. Stepping into the box now for the Miners is Hughes. That's Luke Hughes from the right-hand side. Prendez with a leg kick and the pitch. Line hard down the third base line. Picked up by Skinner. Throw over to first base. They say he pulled. Stepping into the box. He's 1 for 1 with a single. Got caught stealing second base, which has been a positive trend for the Oilers so far today. Prendez now comes set, ready for the first pitch to Pearson. Just inside for ball 1.
Yeah, trying to go off speed this time. We haven't seen as much of that from Prendez as we're used to seeing today. Got that one pretty close to the zone, but just couldn't measure it against Pearson. Of course, he, as well as anybody, remembers the RBI single.
Here, Prendez looking to find the zone again.
You talked about the pitch count for each side. We talked about what it is right now for the Miners starting pitcher, Jay Sciola. Above 70, Kian Prendez sitting right around 30 right now.
And typically you want to see 15 pitches or under as a pitcher, so he's well
out offensively earlier in the season, so they deserve a lot of credit for that.
The 2-1 from Prendez, called strike 2, so after falling behind 2-0, like I said, doing a great job finding the zone, finds himself right back in it, 2-2 the count, and he's going to force Pearson to protect here.
Yeah, good pitch to the outside corner by Kian Prendez in that spot.
Absolute disaster for the Oilers, thankfully. Baseball is a game of inches, and this time it winds up on the Oilers' side.
Yeah, we've seen the inches be in favor of Matsu, but they were against Matsu right there, just barely.
Big strikeout for Prendez to get out of the runners on first and second situation. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. We'll head to the top of the 5th. The Oilers bringing up Musil, Cannon, and Oakley when we come back on ESPN Radio.
I was told if you could sing it, you can remember. So I want to try this. First, if you ever need a tow truck for any reason, I want you to remember Kenmore Towing 394-6068. Maybe you're on a date and you slide in the ditch. Call Kenmore Towing 394-6068.
You really shouldn't sing.
Maybe I need more.
Wimbledon walked in this game, so he has yet to get out here in the second game. First pitch from Van Meter, catches the inside for strike 1, 0-1 on Owen Musil.
Bumpy's real name is William. He comes from the University of Charleston in West Virginia with 16 innings pitched this past year for them. Made 14 appearances and had an ERA of, or opposing batting average of 292.
1-1 the count on Musil. I think I'd go with Bumpy over William too. That's just cooler.
It is. It pretty much stands out is the thing. So you're going to be able to stand out from a crowd with that name.
Bumpy delivers inside for ball 2. 2-1 the count on power hitting Owen Musil. Musil singled and scored in the second, walked and got stranded at second in the third. Looking to get on base for the third time right here, and lined up the middle, and that was almost a base hit. Certainly had potential to be, but it was straight at the shortstop, Park, who made a great play on it.
Yes, he did. Basically right at the face of Austin Park, and hit with such velocity that sometimes you think the infielder would drop that play, but Park, being very resourceful, one of the better shortstops in the ABL, didn't miss in that situation and was able to get a nice out for the first out here in the top of the 5th.
That brings up Shane Cannon, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. Did score back in that second inning. Steps into the box, takes strike 1. Cannon, one of 4 consecutive hitters to score in that second inning. That was Musil, who singled, Cannon, who walked, Oakley, who singled, and McCormick, who singled. They all came in to score in what has been the substance of the game for the Oilers. They now lead 5-2. Cannon takes strike 2, 0-2 the count.
Yeah, if any inning is going to define that game, it may very well be the top half of the second that defines this one. And the Oilers, they've been resting on that lead ever since, but it's not like the offense hasn't been producing in some form or capacity.
This one's grounded hard down the third base line. That's a fair ball, as the third base umpire emphatically tells us. And That's going to go down as a base hit, single on just great placement from Shane Cannon.
Oh, it absolutely was. Just barely stayed fair inside the third base line. And Will Godfrey over there tried to make a play on it, but just no way he was going to be able to handle that cleanly with how it rolled over the bag. And I think he may have even momentarily thought it was a foul ball. Could have thrown him off in that situation.
Yeah, I love the third base umpire's hand motions as well. Very emphatic to leave no doubt in our minds whether that was a fair or foul ball.
Trying to make some impact with that umpire motion.
First pitch to the next hitter, that's Reed Oakley, is a called strike on the outside edge. Oakley's left his mark on the game, to say the least, as well. He's reached both times he came up, singled and scored in that second inning, and walked in the third. Comes up for the third time today. Ready for the 0-1 from Bumpy Van Meter. Grounded softly back up the middle. Picked up by Park. He's going to go to first with it in time to catch Reed Oakley, the catcher, and that's out number 2.
I will say I'm glad that ball was hit a little bit softer and a little bit slower to Park, because if that ball had gotten to him a little bit quicker, there could have been a real chance for Park to turn a double play in that situation. So really good for the Oilers that did not take place.
Absolutely. Another one of those times when you're glad you didn't hit the ball harder. In this case, the Miners able to get one out of it, but Cannon does advance into scoring position for Carson McCormick, who's already had an RBI single today. McCormick ready to see the first pitch from Bumpy. That's just outside for ball 1-1-0.
And I'm sure Carson wants some redemption after what happened to end the third inning. He ended up striking out in a bases-loaded situation with 2 outs, so I'm sure he's thought up that since then, and he wants to try to put that behind him.
And sure enough, line drive, that's down into left field for a base hit. Cannon is around third. He's going to score, and that's an RBI single for McCormick, his second of the day. He comes through to extend the Oilers' lead to 4.
And what a way to put that situation behind you. What a drive by McCormick that time, over into left field, right along that left field line. Really hard for any defense to do anything about it. Park tried to make a play, as did Godfrey, but it was hit with too much velocity and too high for them to do anything with it. Just a really good place to hit it off the bat. And Carson McCormick has had a great day so far. 2 RBI singles, 2 RBIs total for number 25.
Absolutely, McCormick putting together a good day, as he usually manages to do, and that brings up Luke Skinner, who squares to bunt and takes the ball inside 1-0. Skinner's 0 for 2, grounded out twice in the game, did have an RBI single, an RBI ground out, and between those two ground outs, the first one was a 3-1, and the second one was a 1-3, so trying to put it to the left side this time at least. Next pitch, a pick off to first base, and he's back safely. Bumpy Van Meter, also a lefty, has that direct move to first base.
Yes, he does. And now with Skinner over at the plate, you got a chance to add more to this already imposing 4-run lead.
Skinner bloops one up the middle. Park's able to get over to it. He's just going to go to first with it and record the final out of the inning. But not before the Oilers are able to put up one more. An RBI single by Carson McCormick with 2 outs extends the Oilers' lead by 4. They now lead 6-2. They put up 8 hits on the day. And we'll head to the bottom of the 5th. The Miners looking to respond with the meat of their order: Austin Parks, Hughes, and Pearson, when we come back on ESPN Radio.
Hello, I'm Marty Hansen, owner and manager of Eyewear Express. Have you ever bought new glasses for your little darling and they're lost or twisted into a figure 8 before you even get home or take that first picture? Well, if you got them at Eyewear Express, we'll replace the frame for free. Let me say that again. If they lose or break the frame, we'll replace it for free. So relax and expect the best from Eyewear Express in the Peninsula Center Mall, Soldotna, 260-9199.
Hi, this is Justin Ruffridge. There's nothing like a small town. It's real community. And that's one of the reasons I'm raising my family here. It's also why I own and operate Soldotna Professional Pharmacy, because I believe a small-town pharmacy is where people get the best care. Our customers aren't just customers. You're our friends and neighbors. Stop by at 299 North Binkley in Soldotna for hometown-friendly service. I'm Justin Ruffridge, and I'm here to serve you.
Welcome back to Herman Brothers Field. The Oilers lead 6-2 in what has been a very welcome respite from what's been a difficult road trip so far on the offensive side of the ball.
And the offense has been dialed in a huge way so far. It's been a fantastic turnaround. And again, in just a 7-inning game, this early production pays so many more dividends because you've got a 4-run lead, and now you've only got a few more innings to protect it before you can claim victory. And that's what KP is going to look to do here.
Keen Prendez, first pitch delivered to Park, is fouled back and out of play. Park yet to get on base today. He's grounded out twice, once to third and once back to the mound. I'm sure he's frustrated a little bit and wants to get on base for sure.
Yeah, chomping at the bit, I'm sure, to get on base. Park enters the game with a .338 average here for this one after the first game in this doubleheader. 27 hits, 9 RBIs on the year, along with 3 extra base hits. And he's trying to get some magic here against Kian Prendez, but easier said than done.
Prendez comes set. Now the late kick and the delivery. It's going to be flied out to deep right center field. Ranging back, it's going to be Nellis that tries to make a play, and he just comes up short. That's going to fall into the gap. Park heads for third. The relay is non-existent, and that's a triple for Austin Park, his first hit of the day.
Yeah, that ball hung up a while, but it was hit in such a good spot that it was hard for Mark Nellis or Carson McCormick to be able to come over to make the play on it. Nellis dove after it, trying to bring it in, but just out of his reach. And what a way to lead off this bottom of the fifth for Matsu. That is Austin Park's third triple of the season, and that speed he has paid huge dividends to getting him to third base to begin with.
It certainly was a valiant effort by Nellis, ranging over from the center field position. Unfortunately, just came up short on a perfectly placed fly ball. The first pitch to the next hitter, Hughes, is fouled back to the fence, 0-1.
Kian Prendez is at 70 pitches total now for this game with 2 strikeouts, so not quite there at his limit when it comes to pitch count, but it will be something that I'm sure Caden Tharp and Dave Dawson will keep an eye on as we get further into this contest.
0-1 pitch is popped up in the infield, exactly what Prendez needs. It's going to be the first baseman, Hossenclaver, who calls for it and makes the play directly on top of the mound. And that's a bit of a tough play, working with the angle of the mound.
Yeah, that's a great point, because with the mound sometimes and that uneven surface, it's so easy to kind of trip over yourself trying to make that play because you're trying to maintain your levelness while also making the catch. So it can be really hard to get that play in, but Hossenclaver able to do it expertly.
Certainly a perfectly placed pop-up to try to cause some trouble, but Hossenclaver, with his elite defense, able to get underneath it and make the grab. And that's a big step, 1 out after the leadoff triple. And working around a leadoff triple is very, very difficult, to say the least, and a pop-up in the infield is exactly what Prendez wanted. Now gets a swinging through strike against Pearson, 0-1.
Pearson struck out swinging back in the third inning and got an RBI single in the first, so he's had a pretty solid day so far.
0-1 pitch as a spinner, just stays inside enough for a ball, 1-1.
Didn't play in the first game for Matsu, and he's made up for lost time here in the second game. One thing I found interesting, though, both teams with 8 total hits right now, and yet the 6-2 difference between the Oilers and the Miners just goes to show how the script is really flipped in this game.
Prendez ready for the 1-1 pitch, very high for ball 2. 2-1 as Pearson is trying to work a hitter's count, which he has done, actually, and he can swing away if he gets a pitch to hit. He's just looking for a sac fly, some deep fly ball, although with a 4-run deficit, I'm sure he'd want to get on base. The 2-1 delivery from Prendez is going to be, sure enough, a deep fly ball. It's going to be McCormick who gets underneath it. His throw is going to go all the way into the plate, and not in time. That was plenty deep enough to score Park from third. Like we said, nearly impossible to work around a leadoff triple.
Yeah, I mean, not much you can do in that situation, and I admire McCormick for at least trying to get the throw off into the infield. Did his best, but with how deeply it was hit towards right field, just nothing he was going to be able to do. That's going to be the second RBI of the day for Pearson, and it's now a 6-3 game.
Yeah, with nobody else on the base pads beside the runner on third, there's really no reason not to try, but there was just, like you said, no play at the plate. Stepping into the box now for the Miners, Jackson Babcock now with 2 outs. The Oilers will certainly take the trading out for a run when they already have a 4-run deficit. And the next pitch is fouled back towards the Oilers bullpen. Will Gras have a play? He will not. Valiant. I keep saying valiant effort because that's exactly what the Oilers are doing out here on the defensive side.
Yeah, they get an A for effort because they've been showing a lot of it trying to get these pop-ups, and Gras basically went all the way to the Oilers bullpen to try to make the catch. Just didn't have a play on it. And you want to get any out you can against Babcock, considering the day he's had. 2 for 2 with a home run and single so far.
Prendez, after strike one on that foul ball, now ready to try to go after Babcock.
Camping gear, a liquor store, ice and fishing licenses as well. For your camping gear, a liquor store, ice and fishing licenses as well. For your next adventure, stop by Three Bears, Alaska. For next adventure, stop by Three Bears, Alaska.
Welcome back here on ESPN. Dylan Simmons and Tucker Blau joining you here from Herman Brothers Field. And after 5 innings of play on your Three Bears Alaska scoreboard, it is Peninsula Oilers 6, Matsu Miners 3, Game 2 of today's doubleheader here in Palmer. Miners 3, Game 2 of today's doubleheader here in Palmer. And making his first appearance of the season on the mound for the Matsu Miners is Bumpy Van Meter from West Virginia. Love saying that name, and he's trying to limit the Oilers' production here in this top half of the 6th after giving up an RBI single to Carson McCormick in the top of the 5th. The Oilers will have the top of the order coming up: Brooks Hossenclaver, Martin Ellis, and Nolan Graw. It's brought to you by State Farm agent Hossenclaver, Martin Ellis, and Nolan Graw. It's brought to you by State Farm agent Christy Babcock. Start the next inning in your life with the top insurance team.
I will say I'm feeling blessed as a broadcaster today with both Bumpy Van Meter and Diesel Toth in the same game.
Yeah, phenomenal names. I'll give that to Matsu. If there was a naming championship in the ABL, it would probably have to go to them because they've got some guys with fantastic names. Hossenclaver to the plate. Last time up, he delivered a massive solo home run shot. That was in the top half of the 4th inning. Breaking ball issued here by Bumpy Van Meter brings the count to 0-1. Hossenclaver, the lefty batter, got his first hit of the game on that home run shot. Had a single in the first game earlier today. Softly hit here down the first base line. Bumpy Van Meter picks it up and throws on to first. 3-run lead. Van Meter delivers, and this is a high fastball. And all of a sudden, it is ball 3, and the Oilers very well could have the bases loaded soon with just 1 out.
Absolutely, Luke Lusky.
Your health map.
Right as you pause for break, the wall reset.
Sorry about that.
We're here to keep you well with personalized
Every hour.
conditions.
Okay.
Our caring team is ready to help
good,
you
appreciate
stay
it.
ahead of your health. Don't wait. Take the first step toward feeling your best today. Call PCHS at 907-262-3119 or online at pchsak.org.
Peninsula Community Health Services. Healthcare.
Hazardous trees are such a problem here on the Kenai Peninsula, but they have to be handled, and the place to call is AK Tree Solutions. With many years of experience in residential hazardous tree removal, they offer guaranteed customer satisfaction, and they're very accommodating. AK Tree Solutions also offers tree pruning, and they're licensed and insured. Get those hazardous trees off your property today. Call AK Tree Solutions, 907-398-2903. That's 907-398-2903.
Back here on ESPN to Herman Brothers Field on a cool and crisp late July evening here in the Matsu Valley. Bumpy Van Meter's night comes to an end after an inning and a third of work for Matsu. It'll bring Auden Pankonen to the mound. The 4th pitcher for Matsu in this game has 8 1/3 innings pitched on the season with 12 total strikeouts for Matsu.
And I'm sad to see Bumpy leave the game for multiple reasons. First of all, the Oilers seem to have him figured out just a little bit. They had 4 hits and 1.1 innings pitched, and they only scored 1 run as of yet, but all 3 runners on the base paths were inherited from him. And most importantly, I'm sad to see him leave the game because it was fun saying his name.
It was fun saying his name, and hopefully Bumpy will take that the right way. It'll bring Owen Musil coming to the plate for the Oilers, who has already reached a couple times today on a single and a walk back in the 2nd and 3rd innings. And watches a fastball here be lifted inside by Pankonen. Count will be at 1-0. Musil in the first game had 2 singles to end the first half of the doubleheader, an RBI single and a regular single in the 4th and 6th innings. Bases juiced here with one out. Oilers already up by 3 runs, trying to put maybe a nail in the coffin of the Mat-Su Miners. Pankonen watches the ball get chopped to the left side. Third baseman throws to home plate. The ball's bobbled by Anoy, and Nellis comes in to score. It's a 7-3 game. Wow.
And the defensive struggles for the Miners continue. That wasn't a great throw from the third baseman, Godfrey. I'm sure he's blaming himself for that one. It was in the dirt, but I think Anoy did have a decent chance of picking it. Unfortunately for him, couldn't come up with it, and the Oilers will extend their lead on I'm sure it'll probably go down as an E5.
Yeah, it's going to be an E5 to bring in Mark Nellis. Shane Cannon is now at the plate. Base is still loaded for the Oilers, and Pankonen delivers this one for a strike, counted 0-1, but that is an unfortunate way for Mat-Su to give up the 7th run of the day to the Oilers, but Peninsula again will take the opportunity that they're given here.
The scoreboard shows 3 errors for Mat-Su on the day, but that's not including the passed balls and wild pitches, which we've seen 3 or 4 of just them. So it's just been a defensive struggle for the Miners here in Game 2.
0-1 fastball by Pankonen is well inside, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Shane Cannon is 1 for 2 today, and he scored 2 runs already. Walk. Also popped the ball up to the first baseman back in the 3rd inning. Fastball by Pankonen for strike 2. Adjusting that fastball well, and he's looked solid so far. And really the run given up wasn't his fault per se. Count will be at 1-2.
Cannon scored and has reached and scored twice today, once in the 2nd on a walk and once in the 5th on a single. Popped out to first in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2.
1-2 pitch. Here's a ground ball right to the first baseman. There will be a throw to home dictated from taking off from home plate, and I think that may have cost him in that situation. So it's going to be a double play, and that will put an end to the top half of the 6th inning. Unfortunate way.
Here at Martha's Cocina on Willow Street in Kenai is your game day headquarters. Catch every match on their mini TVs while enjoying authentic Mexican favorites, ice-cold Mexican beers, local brews, and the Peninsula's best margaritas from the full bar. Bring the family, bring your soccer crew, and make every match a celebration. Need catering for your next event? Just ask. Martha's Cocina next to Kenai Cinemas and Acapulco Mexican Restaurant in Soldada. Cuts, fractures, sprains, burns, fish hooks, and workplace accidents. Odyssey Urgent Care treats the injuries that can't wait. Need stitches? They perform laceration repairs right here. Got a fish hook where it doesn't belong? Well, they can help with that too. With on-site x-ray services, splitting, braces, and expert injury care, you can get diagnosed and treated in one convenient visit. Conveniently located in Kenai in the Odyssey Family Practice Building. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Walk in or call 907-283-8400. Odyssey Urgent Care.
Back here on ESPN, Dylan Simmons and Tucker Blau joining you from Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska. And the Oilers have made a pitching change as Kian Prendez will make his way out and a new pitcher will make his way on. And what is Kian's final line for this contest?
Yeah, Kian Prendez with a decent outing considering the beginning when he allowed 2 runs in 2 innings. He came back and finished strong. He went 5 innings, did allow 10 hits, but only 3 runs, all earned on 1 walk and struck out 3. 85 total pitches over those 5 innings.
It is Ryan Kaiser who's going to take the mound for the Oilers, coming out of the bullpen for one of the first times this season. Has been used as a starter recently, but is coming in out of the bullpen for the Oilers here and will make his 7th total appearance here in this 2nd game of today's doubleheader. Now, Ryan's a guy who can go pretty long for you, but it's going to be interesting to see what he does out of the pen because it's an entirely different situation with a different outcome sometimes and different stuff that you have to consider. So Kaiser will be put in a different situation against Diesel Toth. They'll be followed by Hazen Inouye and Cash Millar, 7, 8, and 9, due up in the order for Mat-Su.
And those 3 are a combined 3 for 4 on the day with a walk and a sac fly. 2 of those hits coming from Inouye, so while they are the bottom of the lineup, certainly not a pushover.
Here's a fastball from Kaiser that is a little bit low for ball number 1. Hassenclaver came up for a moment, almost as if he was potentially anticipating some sort of bunt from Toth, who we know certainly can. We'll see if he tries that at any point in time. Kaiser's 1-0 is in for a strike. Count goes to 1-1. Kaiser's last appearance this season was against Mat-Su, actually, back on July 11th. He was the starter in that game, went 3 innings with 7 earned runs given up, so certainly does not want to see that happen again. 1-1 pitch delivered well to the outside for ball number 2. He's gone several solid innings before in games this season, though. His longest appearance was against the Pilots back on June 11th, went 5 innings with 4 earned runs given up in an 8-4 win for the Oilers. 2-1 on the way from Kaiser. Here's a fly ball lifted to right center field. Nellis ranging back, and he will make the catch as it hung up long enough for out number 1.
Yeah, good play by Nellis. Routine, but he makes everything look routine. Nellis very good out there in center field, ranging into that right center gap to make the grab.
Inouye will come to the plate. He's reached on a single both in the 2nd and 4th innings in this contest, and he was a real thorn in the side of Kian Prendez in his 5 innings. We'll see how he handles Ryan Kaiser. He will foul this one off, and the count goes to 0-1. Always interesting to see how pitchers or how batters handle a new pitcher, because sometimes you got a pitcher who you were doing really well against, but suddenly against another guy, it just doesn't work the same way. 0-1 on the way from Ryan Kaiser to Inouye. Deals this one in for a strike. Count goes to 0-2. Able to catch the bottom part of the zone, and so far, Ryan Kaiser against these Miners batters that he's faced has looked pretty sporty.
Yeah, like you said, Inouye seemed to have Prendez's goat and just taking 2 strikes so far here against Kaiser.
This is delivered low by Kaiser, and the count goes to 1-2. Out of Boulevard, Texas, tallest player on the team, 6'8", 225 pounds. Junior 22-year-old, made a name for himself at Southwest Baptist. 1-2 pitch on the way. Kaiser deals, and this is just outside. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Inouye and Millar, the bottom 2 hitters in this lineup, yet to be retired. I guess Millar was retired, but it was a sack bunt, so it didn't go down as an at-bat. So they're 3 for 3 combined. Kaiser trying to retire him for the first time.
Breaking ball, and he's going to do exactly that with a looking strike on a man who's been very hard to deal with so far today for the Miners. It is a K looking on Hazen Inouye, and 2 away in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, great location by Kaiser. I don't think Inouye agreed with the call, but they never do when they're caught looking. And great job by Kaiser to sit him down.
Bottom of the 6th, I should say. 2 outs here for the Oilers. Cash Millar comes to the plate. Reached on a single back in the 4th inning. He's also delivered a sac bunt, and Kaiser delivers a strike to bring the count to 0-1. He has looked very good out of the bullpen so far, and that is, again, great news for the Oilers to see. Could give them another bullpen option that they need right now. That's delivered towards the dirt for ball 1. Of course, it's hard to gauge that off of one game, but certainly we're very thankful of that with the doubleheader obviously scheduled. There was a lot of rain forecasted earlier in the week, but outside of the early morning showers, it's been pretty fantastic for the most part. 2-0 pitch from O'Pannell. This time he does find the zone, and the count goes to 2-1.
Yeah, good bounce back after those balls. I keep saying it, I'll say it again. Just pound the zone, let them hit it, trust your defense. All you need is 1 more out to get out of this one.
14 innings of baseball today, and the Oilers trying to get the second half to go their way. 2-1 from O'Pannell. Swing and a miss from Pearson here, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pearson does have a couple of RBIs. Got an RBI single back in the 1st, and also delivered an RBI on a sacrifice fly back in the 5th inning. And is trying to see if maybe he's got 1 more run batted in him for this one, but he's at 2-2. O'Pannell looking to finish it. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, swing and a miss by Pearson, and that will put an end to this one here in the Matsu. The Oilers pick up a dominant 11-3 victory over the Matsu Miners for the second time in about 4 or 5 days. A little bit of deja vu with that score, but it's certainly a welcome sight for the Oilers after suffering the opening loss in the doubleheader earlier today. They get their win back, and they get their first win of this last road stretch of the season. A dominant performance by the Oilers, and it's going to be all smiles heading back to the Vans after that one. Great performance by Peninsula here. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have your Peninsula Community Health Services postgame show on ESPN, and we'll get things set for tomorrow's matchup against the Shugiak Eagle River Chinooks and give you the final stats from today's game. All that and more coming up right after the break on ESPN.
Your health matters every day, not just when you're sick. At Peninsula Community Health Services, we're here to keep you well with personalized primary care and preventative services for the whole family. From checkups and screenings to managing ongoing conditions, our caring team is ready to help you stay ahead of your health. Don't wait. Take the first step toward feeling your best today. Call PCHS at 907-262-3119 or online at pchsak.org.
Peninsula Community Health Services. Healthcare for all.
When trying to find a dentist, it can be challenging, and Ridgeway Family Dentistry knows this. Ridgeway is a new state-of-the-art facility offering you pain-free dentistry and is family-friendly. Even if you don't have time to have multiple appointments, Ridgeway Family Dentistry can complete all your treatment in one easy visit. At Ridgeway Family Dentistry, they know how important it is to have a smile and know how that can change your life. For your next dental appointment, call Ridgeway Family Dentistry at 262-8404.
The World Cup's coming and everybody's talking defense. Here's a strategy that works long after the final whistle. If your family is complete, a no-needle, no-scalpel vasectomy is a safe, effective move. If you're done building your team, it may be time to strengthen your defense. Dr. Alvarez can perform your procedure in Soldotna or Homer. It's quick, comfortable, and a whole lot easier than chasing toddlers into extra time. Don't leave your future up to a lucky bounce. Call Peninsula Surgery and Aesthetics 907-235-1010 and schedule your no-needle, no-scalpel vasectomy. Score some peace of mind and enjoy the games.
And now it's time for the post-game show on ESPN 1140 and 96.9. Brought to you by Peninsula Community Health Services and State Farm agent Christy Babcock. With game recaps and on-field interviews, let's return to the field on ESPN.
Welcome back here on ESPN, and it is indeed time for the Oilers postgame show presented by Peninsula Community Health Services. PCHS supports your health, offering medical, dental, eye care, and behavioral health services. Visit them online at pchsak.org, that's in all caps, or call and schedule an appointment today at 907-262-3119. Your final score here from the Valley, the Oilers picking up the 11-3 win over the Mat-Su Miners and doing so in dominant fashion thanks to a tremendous offensive outburst after a tough couple of games offensively in the first two games of this road stretch. And it's great to see the turnaround that the Oilers had. We'll go over some final stats in this contest, and there are some very fun ones to bring up if you're an Oilers fan here in this one. Brooks Hassenclaver ends up going for 3 total RBIs in this game with a 2-run double in the top of the 7th and a solo home run shot in the top of the 4th. That's his